Hello, everyone. You're in the office with Joseph Skoda. G.I. Joe Skoda in the flesh. I used to think of myself as a good speaker, good lover, good parent, good at a lot of different things in my life. And I am good at those things. But I'm sure you had to add to say, good at a lot of things, a master of none, skilled in so many different areas, but don't know none. Well, it's kind of what I've fallen into. I just recently gave a wonderful Toastmaster competition speech yesterday. At least I thought I did. And I didn't even place. Now, I've been speaking about 10 years, probably 4 or 5 of it semi-professionally, and do a lot of instructions. And I teach and give feedback to other people so they'll become better competitors. But even though I'm good, I often can wake up, and I'm good enough to actually wake up and talk on a subject without even thinking about it, with very little preparation involved. But if you don't prepare, your good isn't really good enough. You see, I thought I would do well, at least place in the top 3 of this competition, and it didn't happen. Now, I don't know why, because I gave feedback to other competitors, and they kind of took to heart some of the things I had to say, and they actually placed against me, who's trying to help them do bigger and better things. Do you see whether you think you're a good lover, good at sports, good at speaking, good carpenter, musician, so forth and so on? Is your good really good enough? We can all dribble a ball and throw it in the hoop from time to time, but are we good enough to go pro? Or catch the ball, play football to go pro? Or play the piano or guitar well enough to be a pro? Very few of us are willing to put that time in. Now, getting back to being a public speaker, I don't know if I wanted to. If I win this Toastmaster contest, you go to the next level, and somewhere down the line, if you're good enough, well, if you're better than good enough, you can compete at the World Champion of Public Speaking. Now, I've been to several of these competitions over the years. Chicago, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Bahamas is coming up, and some other places. People from around the world will compete. And guess what? Their good had to be good enough. Or not necessarily, their better had to be better than their good. Unless they're gooder than their better. The point is, we all should accept feedback in our life. If 4 or 5 people telling us we're doing the same thing wrong, we need to kind of put that into perspective, like, maybe they're right. Now, if 5 people come to you and tell you 5 different things wrong, you can kind of pick and choose who you think is right or wrong. But the bottom line is we need to prepare for that moment, not necessarily speaking, even marriage. We need to prepare and make sure we're emotionally, spiritually, mindset in the right place, all those great things, to be that great husband, to be that great wife. And we're not going to be perfect to start off with. We're not going to be perfect at riding a bike or perfect at even doing podcasts. I've been doing interviews for a long time, and I've been giving presentations and a little bit about my life and my perspective for many years now, and I've so many videos, and some are better than others. And I'm going to tell you, when I actually take the time to prepare, when I actually try to take the time to request and welcome feedback, when I really take the time to practice, my good speech, my good presentation becomes just a little bit better. Now, a little bit better is what gets us in the game. That little bit better pays dividends. That little bit better makes us that better spouse and better parent for our children. That little bit better, and that little bit better can get a little bit better over time, even more. And that over time doesn't have to be a long time. But we have to be welcome to feedback, to advice, to recommendations. And tell some people just to shut up and get out of our way because they have no idea what they're talking about. We don't want to take advice how to raise our children for people who don't have children. We don't want to take advice from people who failed at a business going to tell us how to run a business. We don't want to take advice from people who've been through several divorces telling us how to stay married. They all have good pointers, I'm sure, but we want to talk to the one who's been married 20, 30, 40, 50 years. We want to talk to one who still can talk to his children even when they hit adulthood. We want to talk to the one who is successful in their business. The same goes with speaking and everything else in life. Even if you're trying to build a house or something, learn, grow, and don't be afraid to try something new. And here's one of my problems I had for a long time. It's asking questions. You know, at least us guys, we don't like to ask directions or even help for anything. And I am definitely one of those guys. But what happens if we focus and are open, say, yeah, things aren't quite going right here, and talk to an elder, a mentor, even a parent, say, things aren't going right in my marriage. What should I do here? I'll tell you, one time my dad told me I was telling him I had some marital problems, and he said, well, son, I'm sure you'll do okay. That was it. He wasn't going to give me no advice. He probably knew I wasn't going to listen anyways. And I'm long divorced from that woman from many, many years ago. But very interesting. He's like, we all have to make our own bed. We all have to sleep in it, and adjust as necessary in life. Now, that's a metaphor, not necessarily in bed, but whatever it is. If we're writing a book, I write a lot of blogs. I used to write lots of blogging almost every day. And I haven't done so in several months now, because even though I was a good writer, that good wasn't bringing me results. Even though I'm good at being in front of camera, that good wasn't good enough to bring me fame and fortune as I like to get one day. You see, good is not always good enough. Sure, I'm gooder than my brothers in some aspects, or I'm gooder from some employees and other people I know in other aspects. And we know gooder's not a word, but I have a good friend of mine from Alabama. He's a retired Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Well, not Chief Master Sergeant, but anyways, retired Chief, and he's from Alabama, from the South, and every time I see him, I ask him, how you doing? He said, I'm doing gooder today than yesterday. That's something we can laugh and joke about. He's not trying to impress anyone, but we know who he is. And when we work on ourselves and what we're good at, and we can work on our brand, despite if we have a business or not, and can work on our own integrity and service and doing the right thing, people will know who we are, who they're talking about. And you know me, I wear a hat very often. You know, something like this. Well, it's a bigger hat, but I wear different hats, mostly fedoras, in different situations, and usually when I'm speaking. And yesterday I decided not to wear a hat when I was competing. Maybe that's why I lost. No, I could blame the judges, and I could blame not wearing a hat, or I could blame wearing the wrong clothes. In fact, I think I wore this shirt for that competition. But, you know, bottom line, I just wasn't as prepared as I could have been. I just wasn't listening to the same advice I was giving other people. I just didn't have the edge at that particular time. And those that become successful, sure, sometimes the right place at the right time, but they're usually prepared along the way. They're usually doing something so they can have that edge, so they can be ready to jump in when the timing's right, so they can be ready for any challenges or obstacles come their way. Now, how often we're not prepared for those challenges? We know if we're going to run, let's just say, for politics, despite if it's the school board, mayor, senator, whatever it is, could just be the president of your HOA or something. And we know in most cases that's not an automatic win. And even if you do win, are you prepared to take charge or be the leader from day one? Not too many of us are. We all want the job. We all want extra money. We all want to be respected and live a happy, so lucky life. But But are we prepared? Are we putting in the effort? Are we asking the questions? Are we setting up our calendar? Do we have the right computer systems? Are we in the right phone? Do we have the right people around us to ensure that you and I can make it to the next step? Like I told you, if 5 or 6 people or even 3 people keep telling you, you need to get rid of the hat, you need to get rid of the hat, you need to get rid of the hat, you might want to listen. But 5 people say, well, you get rid of the hat, well, you should wear a tie, I think you should talk lower, maybe get a haircut. You can kind of pick and choose which of those are important to you and which of those you can let go. Or look for sound advice from someone who's been where you're trying to be. Now, we all have opinions, and we have a lot of ways to look at those opinions from different people, and some of them are justified, but in most cases, they're opinions. Now, if I want to be a world champion public speaker, obviously I want to ask other world champions of public speakers, say, what's the deal? How do I get? What do you suggest for me? And I may get some honest feedback, but I'm going to tell you, some people, when they hit certain levels, and they're watching you not prepared. They're watching you not taking it seriously. They're watching you kind of mediocre through life. They're not necessarily going to give their best effort to us because they don't feel, and rightfully so, they're not going to feel that we deserve to be there. We can't just take shortcuts in life and expect I'm number one. Now, there are shortcut systems for businesses, which I'm very much involved in. In fact, I'm getting artificial intelligence here really soon because there are shortcuts that can help me get my message out a little bit more clearer, better, and faster than I can on my own. But in life and other aspects of competing, of training, of relationships, there's no shortcuts. We maybe like to think there are, but there's no real shortcuts in life. You and I have to put the work in. You and I have to make that real effort. You and I have to make a difference and beat the next guy or gal to get in where we want to be. So what makes us so stubborn where we don't want to make it? Now, I know people who've always get good grades in school, and they never study. I was one of those people a little bit in high school. I didn't have to study very hard. I understood concepts. I knew how to read and look for an answer right away. I was pretty good at that. But when it came to the military and I had a test for each rank, each promotion, I was horrible. I did okay in my career and very thankful for that. But I was a horrible test taker for the military, and I did 21 years. Now, if I had to study harder than most people, and maybe some concepts didn't quite jive with me, and maybe I wasn't supposed to be a career airman in the Air Force. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. And that's okay, but if I got promoted so fast, let's say I made every rank the first time, would I have been mentally, physically, emotionally prepared for that next position? I would have enjoyed the money, but as you move up the ranks comes more responsibility. Whether you're in the military, the civilian world, or even a career, a business you start, there is more responsibility. You're no longer just responsible for yourself. In most cases, you're responsible for people and their growth, and you're responsible for a budget and making sure that doesn't go too low. Now, I've been in charge of budgets, and in most cases, usually made a little bit of money in there, which was always good. But I had shortcomings. I've had some shortfalls. I'm like, where did that $10,000 go? Where did that $100 go? Where did my lunch money go? And we have to pay attention to that. Were we really prepared? Did we get the advice of our predecessor to help ensure that we're going to be able to manage and make it to the next level properly? Or were we just too arrogant and say, that's nice, thank you for serving, I got this from here. Yeah, I've been that a little bit. There have been some leaders ahead of me, and I just couldn't wait to take their place because I knew I could do a better job or a gooder job. And some ways I did. My vision usually was better. I had better ideas in my mind, but you have to think about the people surrounding you. They could be loyal, more loyal to that person than they're going to be to you. And where did the budget come from? Where do we cut things, and where do we add things to ensure that everything's going a little bit more smoothly? And most of us really aren't as prepared as we like to be, as I mentioned. So good is good, better is better, best is best, as they say. Now, where do you fit in, and how often do you think you need to tweak your good? One of the problems is, at least me as a speaker, I think I'm always good, and just a little tweak and I can just be great overnight. Well, too much good does not help you become great, does not necessarily help you become better. Open yourselves to that feedback. Ask for that advice. If you want to be an actor, and I've done, I don't know, about 15 auditions or so, and probably picked up once or twice, but mostly background things, or the father, or hey, good job, kid, and moving on. I never had a big thing, but I really haven't prepared. After getting beat up a couple times, took a few acting lessons, traveled back and forth to LA, and that's about 4 hours each way for me, and the expenses. So I wasn't taking it seriously. I just thought, well, if it happens, it happens. Won't this be great? I want to make sure I'm there in the right place at the right time. We really have to be prepared. We have to put our best foot forward. We have to build our network, make those connections. You've been a military guy. Where was all my buddies who had my six back in the day? And somewhere around, and I could call, or thanks to social media and social media shows and network and all that, able to find some of those people again. But all of us has a message to give. All of us have experiences to share. All of us have failed, and we don't necessarily want to talk about, but we want to help others not make those same mistakes that we did. Well, all that being said, I just encourage you to be the best you can every day. Wake up with a smile on your face. Go ask questions if necessary, and do whatever it takes to be prepared for that next level. And guess what? We don't always know what that next level is. You might think it's being a Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. It may be opening your own company, or being CEO of this company, or just retiring and becoming a dad, a mom. A funny story I heard, not funny, just heard about not too long ago. This colonel, a colonel's an 06, they're making about 130, 140,000 a year, give or take how many years they had in. That's good money. And a lot of them be out of the military, they got these high-paid positions for different organizations and different companies on their own. But this one just retired and became a bus driver. And he would drive his daughter to school every day. He just wanted to be closer to his daughter and his family. The money, the retirement was good, but he wasn't looking, okay, I've been there and done that. Now I just want to support my family. And there's others, I've known others that retired at that level. And so, okay, now it's my time to support my wife. She supported me for 20, 30 years. Now it's time for me to support her. Others would get jobs at janitors at school just to be around the kids and making sure there's stability. Because us in the military, sure, we love going up the rank and love the experiences, but we're often sent away from home. We're often sent away for months, even years at a time, without seeing our family. In my case, I loved it, but it caused a lot of problems in my relationships, caused a lot of problems having that closeness with my kids. So whatever it is, whatever decision you make, ensure you're prepared for it. And if you just, ready to retire now, or ready to start a new career or start a family, do whatever it takes to ensure that you have that foundation built. And you can truly make a difference in those little ones' lives and your own. With that being said, you're in the office with Joseph Skoda. Please subscribe to our channel. Let me know what comments, suggestions you have. And whatever it is, make sure you're prepared. And remember, good is not always good enough. Have yourself a great day, everyone. Bye now. If you liked our show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or find us on any social media platform, Instagram, of course, Facebook. Like, subscribe, share. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts and join our team. Anyways, we appreciate you staying tuned week after week, day after day, because we continuously build up our network to bring to you what you're asking for. Have a great day.